Hello, everyone. This podcast is going to be about what I feel is one of the greatest shows out there, Better Call Saul. And joining me in this discussion is my dear friend Ujjawal Gayakwad. Ujjwal is an editor and filmmaker, and we've met through while working on a couple of event films, and that's how we sort of became friends and kept in touch. And just like me, Ujjwal is a Better Call Saul super fan. So I'm very excited to know what his thoughts are on this show. And it's a show that is really worth discussing. It's If you haven't checked out the show, please do check it out. It's streaming on Netflix in India. Warning for viewers out there: there's a possibility of spoilers being revealed in this for the show. There might be spoilers from Breaking Bad also that might come up in a discussion. So if you haven't watched Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, and for my money's worth, these are the two greatest shows on TV. So do check it out. Thanks a lot, Ujjwal, for being part of this and for discussing this amazing show.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Akshay, for having me on the show. And obviously, as you mentioned earlier, we both are super big fans of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad to extend it, and looking forward to to this discussion. Actually,
Great. So, what do you love about this show? What's your biggest takeaways? What do you feel is the best thing about this series?
well, uh, I think I love the character of James McGill. Like even from the Breaking Bad, the very first look of him and the very first introduction of him. I think it was when he tried the case of Badger, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, so his first appearance when Hank was trying to, put him in the corner, and he comes up and like takes over the case. He was very charismatic, and the way his persona was presented, he was the most colorful character in the show. Let me be the honest. Let me be honest. And from that point, he made a mark, and we started liking the character. And when I heard that the series after Breaking Bad, I was just repeating the Breaking Bad shows again and again and again and again because I didn't have anything worthy to watch when I'm having lunch or dinner. So when the show came up, Better Call Saul, I was so excited. Like I'm gonna getting to see the background of this character, how this character got here, and I was very much interested into his stories. And the showrunners have done a brilliant job of creating the whole story, not just the story of Jimmy McGill, but the other characters in the story that are also from the Breaking Bad, like Mike's backstory, Gus Fring's backstory. Um I mean, not so much of a backstory, but I'm very happy to just see the character of Gus Fring on the screen again, and Salamanca's backstory, Hector Salamanca, and who put him in the wheelchair, guys. As Akshay has already told you guys that spoilers is gonna be ahead, so please watch the show before you watch this podcast. And yeah, so जेम्स मगिल वॉज द सेंट्रल पिलर जिसके कारण मैं शो की ओर अट्रैक्ट हुआ और मैंने शो देखना चालू किया एंड देन आई वाज हुक्ड ऑन टू इट.
Like from the show, from Better Call Saul, you realize how much more there is to him, right? Than what we saw of him in Breaking Bad. Matlab, all that history and all the things he went through, it really makes you see him in a different way, you know.
It makes him a rich character because in Breaking
Yeah,
Bad we used to just look at him like a pimp. Let
yeah,
me be
yeah.
honest with you, like उसका जो बिहेवियर था, उसका जो तरीका था to deal with things, like he was always this chronic guy, conman type का attitude, but almost like a pimp. But ये बेटर कॉल सॉल देख के ये रियलाइज होता है कि this character is so larger than life character and has so much depth to it, and वो ऐसे ही बेटर कॉल सॉल नहीं बना है और वो जर्नी देखने में मजा आता है. एंड लेट मी बी ऑनेस्ट, दिस कैरेक्टर इज वेरी मच रिलेटेबल, though he is a little bit crooked and he has his own methods, not ethical, but I think he is a hustler, and like Howard calls him Charlie Hustle. So
Yeah, yeah.
he's actually a hustler. And when I was watching like season 2 and 3, and Jimmy McGill was trying to make his name in advocacy and become a good lawyer, and he was hustling to get an office, get clients, and make these advertisement films, that hoarding stunt of him. And so I felt relatable that I'm also a filmmaker. So a filmmaker has to be a hustler, and that period was very relatable to me. I felt like he's also hustling, I'm also hustling. So uh, that sort of created a bond between me and Jimmy somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, his journey is like, if there are few parallels to maybe Walter White and Jimmy McGill when you see the show, that
Yeah, yeah,
you're
of
sort of
course, of
surprised
course.
like, array, these guys have a lot more common than I thought. Matlab, very unfulfilled people. Uh, they are wronged by people they're close to. Like Walter was felt he was wronged by his colleagues at Grey Matter. You know that Gretchen and Shore, and yeah, and Saul is wronged by his own brother, like Chuck,
It's
and
like
even
almost like a betrayal.
yeah, both have that thing, but there's also differences because both navigate their journeys a little differently. I feel I don't think Saul is as I don't think he's as natural a criminal as Walter White. I feel he
Yeah,
still has a little bit of goodness in him. He's not maybe a guy who will have the propensity to maybe hit murder someone, or like how Walt has. Walt eventually becomes
well,
that
I think
monster.
even I think Walter White was also not a criminal like that in the heart
Yes.
when the show started, but because he was oppressed so much, I
Yeah,
think his operation turned into this act of rebellion, and then becoming this crime lord and this evil character that he becomes at the end. But otherwise, but Jimmy McGill was never oppressed, as I see him.
I think,
Uh,
yeah, he was more like uh, mistreated and never and always looked down upon. कि ये कभी
yeah,
सुधरेगा
exactly.
नहीं.
नहीं, बिगड़ा हुआ जो लड़का रहता है ना,
Hmm.
जिसको मॉम डैड हमेशा बोलते हैं कि शर्मा जी के लड़के को देखो, शर्मा जी के लड़के को देखो, तो इसको ऐसा है
Ah,
कि भाई मेरे को अपना पर्सनैलिटी पसंद है, मैं अपना करूंगा.
correct.
और जिमी
Yeah,
के डैड भी इनफैक्ट ही वाज वेरी सिंपल एंड स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड
yeah,
गाय.
yeah,
तो
yeah.
जिमी ने देखा कि हाउ ही गेट्स कॉन्ड एंड पीपल टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ इट, सो दैट एडेड इट to his character, I think.
Yes.
And he becomes this smooth talker lawyer, and Jimmy is not someone who would sit and wait for the opportunities to arrive. He is someone
Yeah,
who is going to create those opportunities, and by hook or by crook, it doesn't matter to him, as long as he's not hurting someone
correct.
intentionally. uh,
Yeah,
someone he doesn't want to hurt, otherwise he
yeah,
does
yeah,
hurt people, and that's where his character becomes little gray, I think. Like
yeah, yeah.
Howard again, poor soul, and what did he do to deserve this treatment from Jimmy? I don't know, and I was pretty excited जब ये last का भी episode, as of you're talking right now, 7th episode release हुआ है, right?
Seventh episode, yeah, season 6 का,
तो
yeah.
last में जब Howard आता है, I was pretty much curious to know कि Jimmy का answer क्या होगा, कि why all this torture for
Yeah,
Howard.
yeah.
ठीक है, कुछ रीजंस पता है, बट इतना भी क्या कि आपके अंदर जुनून है हावर्ड को टॉर्चर करने का, तो वो मेरे को जानना था. बट
लेकिन
जो हुआ
हावर्ड
वो
ने आई
तो,
थिंक आंसर किया. वो खुद
या
आंसर
हावर्ड
किया.
ने आंसर किया लास्ट में
हाँ,
जिम्मी के.
हाँ.
इन द एंड इट वाज ऑलवेज व्हाट चक सेड. चक हैज ऑलवेज बीन सेइंग इट, जिम्मी कांट हेल्प इट.
Can't
ठीक
help
है,
it.
और उसको मजा आता है ये करने में. ठीक है, और वो हॉवर्ड बेसिकली जिमी डजंट लाइक हिपोक्रेट पीपल, एंड द वर्ल्ड इज full of hypocrite people around him. People acting over smart, but they are not, like his first line Betsy and his husband, sorry, her husband.
Yeah.
Everybody is
Kettlemans.
like trying to act over smart, and Howard was also trying to do something of the same with him. Like Howard never wanted to treat Jimmy bad, or like he never wanted to fire him from the company or take any case from him. It was Chuck all the way along,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Jimmy knew it, that Chuck is behind all this, and Howard doesn't have courage to stand up to him and do what he wants. So
yeah,
he is like complicit in the crime, and like throwing Jimmy off all the good work that he was trying to do.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a very good point. Howard is that was, I think, one thing that led to him getting involved in this unfortunate situation. Right, he was too loyal to Chuck. Right.
that was
Yeah,
another. It
I
was
think he
tough.
was burdened by the weight of his
Yeah,
personality and his things that he had done for the company.
yeah. Chuck was his mentor, right? So he owed him. He
Yeah,
felt like he owed him. So both are.
and like you're talking about parallels between Walter White's life and Jimmy McGill's life, I would also like to point out one more thing, that both of their lives have been shaped by crime in Albuquerque because of cartel and
Yeah,
this uh, drug, and
yeah,
both
yeah.
of everybody's life, and it's basically obvious and happens everywhere in every story, be it Godfather or Satya or any other film. क्राइम के वर्ल्ड में हो तो आपके लाइफ में ट्रेजेडी ही होना है, और आपके अराउंड जो भी लोग रहेंगे उनके लाइफ में भी ट्रेजेडी ही होना है. दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंड विद वॉल्टर वाइट, एंड आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट इज हैपनिंग विद जिमी मगिल राइट नाउ आल्सो, be his brother Chuck, or now we have seen Howard. And I have a very bad feeling about Kim Wexler. By the end of the show, we might see her fate
Oh,
somewhere like because of like how Hank died because of the Walt's ego and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
arrogance
Maybe
and his mistakes. I don't know.
Kim's
Let's
future
just,
looks very
because we have
grim.
not seen her mention or her appearance in Breaking Bad anywhere. So that's I think only logical way to wrap her character or send her somewhere else away from United States. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, there are a lot of, like, obviously there's so many fan theories and so many discussions online na, about what's the future of the show, ये कहाँ जाने वाला है, especially especially after that insane mid-season finale, right? Uh, yeah, a lot of people say, okay, either usually maybe only two options: either Kim dies, she gets killed, or she calls the vacuum cleaner guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Disappears. She
Because
disappears
they have,
and
like, introduced it. I think in the same episode where they go to that pet store owner, and they have his book which is encrypted, which has all the records of the criminals, contact numbers, and they find this card
yeah,
vacuum cleaner. So it's
yeah,
like a little bit foreshadowing. So
yeah,
it might be a possibility that Jimmy does it for Kim and they part their ways
yeah.
because of inevitable circumstances. And
That's
one
true.
more thing I just wanted to point out, that the thing that is parallel between our lives and Jimmy's life is he's also a filmmaker. Let's also acknowledge that fact. And he has made such great commercial. He is known for his cheesy commercials, even from the days of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. I used to, like, people used to know him by that name, by that slogan, or by that catchphrase, Better Call Saul, and that they have continued that talent of him even in the show Better Call Saul,
Yeah,
trying to make different commercials to create outreach for their program and their schemes,
yeah, yeah.
create new clients. He has good taste for showmanship, being the colorful character he is.
He is that I totally agree. He's मतलब Breaking Bad के time पे वो that time he's a celebrity, right? By the time
Yeah,
we see him
local
celebrity.
celebrity.
And I think in Breaking Bad, Saul was an excellent comic relief guy also. मतलब he had the funniest. I think he had the funniest dialogues in Breaking Bad. Like
100%.
so many funny dialogues he had, and obviously in Better Call Saul, वो है, he has that humor. But I think when they develop that character, you see him trying to refine his personality and his persona. Like you're seeing, like how you saw Walter to Heisenberg, you're seeing Jimmy to Saul, right? So we are seeing that slow transformation, which I think is a little more subtle compared to Walter and Heisenberg.
It could
Well,
be
you
like
can
the
only tell by the number of seasons. Now, Breaking Bad took 5 seasons. It's taking 6 seasons. So
yeah,
already, and it's not even over. Like, his character is also in Breaking Bad, and I'm actually very much curious about the black and white
the future.
portion of the future of the Jimmy McGill and how it ends. He's always living in paranoia, and he thinks someone is always after him because of the crimes that he has committed and Breaking Bad's
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
events.
yeah.
So they are actually. I don't think they ever wanted to make it a comedy. I think they wanted to
Better Call
limit
Saul.
the comedy. Yeah, they
Yeah,
wanted to limit the aspect of comedy and create more of it like a drama. And because of that, we have gained a lot of respect for the character of Jimmy McGill, because he's not just a funny character. He is funny because he's a smooth talker and uh, believes in showmanship and colorful character, but
Very persuasive. वो एक salesman की तरह
yeah,
बात
very
करता है
persuasive.
यार.
Exactly. वो इसीलिए तो लगता था ना कि वो पिंप है ब्रेकिंग बैड में, कि उसके पास ऐसा कर लो वैसा कर लो, ये करवा देते हैं वो करवा देते हैं. आई लाइक द जब वो दोनों को कन्विंस कर रहा रहता है, वॉल्टर वाइट एंड व्हाट वाज
Jesse,
no his wife,
Skyler.
स्काइलर, हाउ कैन आई फॉरगेट हर नेम. तो स्काइलर को कन्विंस कर रहा रहता है अलग अलग टेक्निक के बारे में, कार वॉश,
For money
और
laundering,
wanted to,
right? Yeah.
yeah, or wanted to, she wanted to fix uh Beneki,
Oh yeah, that issue
Ted
came up, right?
Beneki.
Where Ted Beneke
Yeah,
he was getting bankrupt or
so
something. Yeah.
him pitching ideas to Skyler is very funny.
No, Saul, I think another interesting part of Saul's character is that I think great characters, not, and this doesn't apply to all great characters, but Saul is an example of a character with tremendous talent, actually.
Yeah,
He's really good at
100%.
what he does, which is fun to watch, right? It's fun to write, it's fun to
Courtroom
watch.
dramas, like
Yes.
his courtroom appearances are always I'm looking forward to it. They have reduced it a lot in this season. I haven't seen him like,
Yeah. I think naturally, yeah, now the drama will be more cartel, closer to the cartel.
yeah, cartel driven, because like he will be drawn into the world of Breaking Bad now.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, Saul has so much talent that he can persuade people very easily. He can,
I
He
mean, he
can.
defeated Chuck.
He
He's
defeated.
the
Yeah.
Chuck.
Like by
I
hook
think
or
Chuck
by
is,
crook. Yeah.
yeah. Chuck was like the benchmark for advocacy,
Yes.
in at least in the Albuquerque area and that part of the state,
Yeah.
and he defeated Chuck. Uh, and the one more reason for the defeat of Chuck was also not just the Jimmy's talent, but also uh, Chuck's own pride and his hate for Jimmy that
Yeah.
engulfed him and he could not see it clear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that got, I mean, उसने खुद को अपने जाल में ही फंसा लिया. Jimmy
Correct.
just was waiting for it. बेट डाल के बैठा था वो.
Yeah.
so that's the beauty and also the tragedy of this show, because you see Saul, who actually has good potential, because we saw him work himself to become a lawyer, na? Despite him being put in the mail room and all that, उसने खुद अपने अपने मेहनत से
एफर्ट लगा करके,
एफर्ट लगा करके
खुद से
लॉयर
उसने
बना.
बार क्लियर किया,
करेक्ट.
लॉयर बना.
All that
He wanted
happened.
to pursue it as a noble cause, like a white scholar job, like elderly law में भी गया था, and he wanted to provide justice to these old people.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's the thing. Like when they show Jimmy in his early years, he was never that shady guy. He was like, I mean, there were traces of that shadiness. It's not like he was never shady. वो था कुछ. He always had that tendency, but I think he did try to make an effort to make a decent career as a lawyer. But obviously, his relationship with his brother was a huge hurdle. And I think that really forced him into another path. And then it came to a point where Saul realized that, there's no point in me, trying to please anyone or please my brother, or like I think he just had to embrace his darkest side. Like
yes,
he had no, it felt like that was the tragedy of the show, which is, I think, what makes it so powerful. Yeah.
people around him already so corrupt. It's like one criminal dealing with another criminal. Like lawyers also like criminals, and the clients they're representing are also like criminals. It's very shady. So I think Saul must be thinking that they are not so very different from me. It's just that they don't approve methods of mine,
Yeah.
and so that's why I think he thinks everyone is a hypocrite. And let's do what I do best. I should not be pleasing someone else, as you said.
Yeah.
What do you like about the writing about the show? What are your...
Well, I think they have continued the tradition from Breaking Bad, the way they are progressing the plot and the way they are building the character arcs, introducing characters and subtle nuances that define the characters. They are providing good individual times with the character. Like I had one issue with the Breaking Bad that मेरे को गस फ्रिंग के साथ बहुत ज़्यादा पर्सनल टाइम नहीं मिला था, बट राइटर्स ने इस सीजन में वो भी कमी पूरी कर दी है. लाइक मेरे को गस फ्रिंग के साथ भी पर्सनल टाइम मिल रहा है. हमने देखा कि वो डरा हुआ है, एंड दैट वाज समथिंग न्यू एंड दैट इज फनी
It is.
टू मी इट्स वेरी फनी कि वो जैसे वो मोमेंट रहता है ना, पीपल लाइक टैक्सी ड्राइवर में रहता है, अरे टॉकिंग टू मी, वो गन पॉइंट करके टेस्ट कर रहा है, वो ऐसा ब्रेक. गस फ्रिंग भी अपने पैंट में नीचे जूते के पास गन रख रहा
Mm.
है, बुलेट प्रूफ वेस्ट पहन के घूम रहा है, अपने घर में जाने के लिए बाजू वाले घर में जा रहा है, फिर वहां से नीचे से होते हुए फिर वो सर्वेलेंस. मतलब दैट वाज लाइक ही शिट स्केयर्ड ऑफ लाइक लालो. एंड ये सब जो छोटे नुआंसेस हैं, फोर शेडोइंग, आई थिंक दे हैव लर्न टू हाउ टू डू सटल फोर शेडोइंग, बिकॉज ब्रेकिंग बैड में काफी हैवी फोर शेडोइंग उन लोगों ने करी थी. फॉर एग्जांपल दैट डॉल
Mm.
is the best example of it, which was not so subtle. And but इस शो में उन लोगों ने उसको भी काफी improve कर लिया. And pacing, it almost feels like I'm tasting a wine, like I'm drinking a wine and slowly doing that. I enjoy that. What is your pointers from the writing, and what do you like about the writing?
First of all, they're showing different ways these characters are, not just Saul, many characters are quite talented, you know.
Yeah.
I like how the writers are able to create these situations that reveal character, reveal what kind of people they are, whether it's Saul, whether it's Nacho, whether it's Kim, Chuck. Like a lot of actions, they create these situations, and they create these sort of they create these scenarios where where you get to see who they are, and that makes you connect with the characters more and connect with the show even more.
Yeah. You
And
mentioned something earlier that every character is intelligent
pretty
somewhere
much,
in
yeah. I think pretty much
yeah.
every,
So
yeah.
I think what writers have done, where writers have done a great job, is like blending emotions with the intelligence for every character and providing story to it. I can provide an example of it.
Yeah.
uh, I just thought of it when the recording had stopped. So the Warner Ziegler, I think, was the name of
Yeah.
the character who was the chief engineer for constructing the meth lab, underground meth lab.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so how meticulous the planning was to construct that underground lab, plus how Mike actually what we say recruited him. Like he had interviewed someone else also. He just came there and like pointed lasers at the wall, measured the distance, and just told them, yeah, it can be done within I think 2 months to 3 months. It would be done. And then Warner Ziegler came. He was old school, and he noted everything down to his notebook and uh, measured each and everything, calculated, took his time, and then said it's gonna take at least 6 months. एंड देन फला 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 ये भी होगा वो भी होगा ऐसा. तो हम लोग अगर रहेंगे, कोई यंग बंदा रहेगा तो बोलेगा ये कम टाइम ले रहा है, इसके पास टेक्नोलॉजी है, इसको ले लेते हैं. बट माइक वाज स्मार्ट एंड इंटेलिजेंट, तो ही चोज माइकल ज़ीगलर. एंड सेम वे ज़ीगलर को एक इमोशनल बैकग्राउंड दिया, एंड कि एक सिचुएशन कैसे क्रिएट कर सकते हैं टू डेवलप द कैरेक्टर ऑफ माइक, दैट ही हैज टेक अ कॉल लेटर टू शूट Ziegler, who becomes a good friend of him. Like Ziegler की wife होती है and he has to go away because he was feeling homesick. And how Lalo is following him, and how smart Lalo is, also very smart guy. He is almost like a sociopath, I think.
He
And
is. He is.
he 100% is. He's like we saw that when he met Ziegler's wife in the last episode. I think last to last episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought he's gonna kill her. I mean, thankfully he didn't.
Thankfully, he
And
didn't.
yeah, so Mike approaches Ziegler before, just when Mike Ziegler was on the call with Lalo. And so these small things, and how I think that's how it is a very smart blend of emotion with the intelligence. Like they have an emotional core, emotional background, but they act with their intelligence. And same thing goes with the courtroom dramas as well. They have written courtroom dramas very well, minute details with all the acts and laws and loopholes, and how people communicate, how judge reacts to it, and how people try to dodge the legal system
Yeah.
by bending it. And Gus Frings is also another intelligent person. How he's handling it, he is like a proper schemer, and everybody in that world is like trying to stay one step ahead of the other guy, and that's where the scheming and intelligence and all these things come. And at the end of the day, it's the writer who is writing all the plot and all the schemes. So hats off to them for doing all the scheming for us.
Yeah, that's true. The characters are very well defined, and uh, because pretty much all of them, most of them are so clever in what they do, or clever in the way they run their lives. Uh, that's great for the audience, right? And the writers also, even Breaking Bad also, but even more in Better Call Saul, they trust that the audience will get a lot of subtle things and a lot of small
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
They rely on, they know the audience is clever enough to pick up stuff. Like, even if you see the cold opens in many of these episodes, right? Like, it starts as something, even breaking, like some random thing will happen, right? In the cold open, you're like, this is, you're trying to figure out what exactly is happening, what is,
But
but
then
then
you
you
Yeah,
can,
like
can,
that. Very small example, and
yeah,
uh, not so very to the point, but still, जो opening sequence है cyclers का, the couple was cycling around
yeah,
Gus
yeah,
Fring
yeah, yeah, yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah,
I had no idea क्या चल रहा है, ये अभी कुछ नया
exactly,
plot चालू हुआ है, and
exactly,
then they get to the house, and then
yeah,
there are people surveillancing the house, and
yes,
I have still no idea what's going on. ठीक है?
yes,
And later when Gus Frings enters his house and then goes to the basement and
so,
goes to
see
that,
those guys,
yeah, oh my god, this guy, he was the cycling guy, and this
yeah,
lady, and Mike is also here. Oh fuck, so this is like his own operation. So like
yeah,
people putting 2 plus 2, uh,
yes,
they do it brilliantly.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think they respect their audience
very
very
well,
much.
very well, which is,
which is one thing why people love the show. They love that they love that the show is testing their intelligence and making them connect the dots. Audiences actually like that. Yeah, I think audiences like that. They like to be uh, uh, stimulated, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you said, like these cold opens, like now, because I'm so used to watching this show, Saul, Breaking Bad. Like when they show something random in the cold open, I'll be thinking, they're gonna explain this later. They're not. There's a reason why they're showing us this, right? They're gonna tell it 20 minutes later. They're gonna like they will.
In
It will
Vince
make
Gilligan we
sense.
trust. In
It will
Vince
make
Gilligan we
sense.
trust.
Yes. What you said in Gilligan?
Yeah, in Vince Gilligan we trust.
Vince
I was
Gilligan
just
yeah, and
Peter
Peter
Good.
Good, the other
Yeah,
co-creator of Saul, Better
co-creator.
Call Saul.
And in fact, he was the showrunner for most of the season.
Yeah,
Other seasons. Gilligan is left to do something of his own
yeah,
in between. He has come back for this last season, and
yeah.
so yeah, I mean they are very good at connecting the dots and bringing small things that they had mentioned earlier. Like if you had noticed when the Betsy had returned in this season, the first client, and they were doing some taxation outside the city, and
There's some.
we see that putla flying of Statue of Liberty, and we know that he's going to take that Statue of Liberty ka putla and install it over his
In
own
his
shop
office.
or his own office. So ब्रेकिंग बैड में भी था लाइक कॉम्बो का जिसने मर्डर किया था बच्चा,
हाँ
he turns
हाँ
out to be the brother of जैसे पिंकमैन्स लव इंटरेस्ट जिसका मर्डर कर देते हैं बाद में.
yes 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 yes
ब्रोक उसका भाई रहता है एक
Brock
छोटा.
yeah.
और एक और भाई
नहीं
रहता है
ब्रॉक
जो
ब्रॉक एंड्रिया का बेटा है
बेटा था. राइट राइट, तो उसका भाई
हाँ
रहता है वो एंड्रिया का जिसने
एंड्रिया का
कॉम्बो को.
भाई
हाँ, तो इट्स लाइक शो में कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं है जो वेस्ट है आके चला गया. दे कैन ब्रिंग इट बैक एनी टाइम, एंड दैट्स हैपनिंग विद बेटर कॉल सॉल एज वेल. पुराने क्लाइंट्स, पुरानी चीजें वापस लेके आते हैं.
या
वाइन और इनफैक्ट जस्ट टू ब्रश योर मेमोरी, टू गिव यू सम सेंस ऑफ नॉस्टैल्जिया और स्टोरी लाइन. जैसे कि अभी इस एपिसोड में ही गोज टू वाइन शॉप and buys a bottle जहाँ पे उसको वो मिलता है, जज मिलता है with his
Correct.
handicapped hand.
Yes.
तो
Yes.
वो जो बॉटल लेता है, मेरे को उसके ढक्कन से याद है कि ये वही बॉटल है जब इन लोगों ने सेलिब्रेट किया था, इसने और किम ने, जब when they were trying to like scam somebody.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I have a a subtle connect,
Yeah.
subconscious connect. That's I think a very smart writer.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So all those little details, in regarding props, is amazing. And that same bottle, that same brand, it's a fictitious brand they created, na? Zafiro Añejo. It's the same bottle, same brand that Gus took to the cartel meeting in Breaking Bad, and he poisoned them.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering. That I
It's
have
the
a feeling
same.
that I have seen this cap somewhere else also.
Exactly.
Damn,
Gus had bought that brand to poison the whole
mixed
cartel.
poison in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I like. The world building is amazing in Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. There's so many little details which you see in one show and then see in the other show as well, which you see in one episode, then you see it reappear in the many seasons later, or maybe so. It's a master of planting and payoff. The show establishes one particular thing, and later on you see it pays off beautifully. Like in Breaking Bad, for example, the biggest one was the ricin cigarette. The
Oh
ricin.
God, ricin thing, that cigarette and
Yeah, the ricin, and in Better Call Saul, there are many. Better Call Saul, there's like that tequila bottle is a classic one. Tequila bottle. Couple of other. Oh yeah, like Hector's bell.
yeah,
Which
who
we
gifted
real
him that
which
bell?
and then we realized Lalo gifted him that.
Yes,
And who knew that bell will turn out to help create an
kill
explosive?
Gus. Yeah, kill Gus Fring later on. I mean, even if you watch it chronologically, if you
Yes.
first watch Better Call Saul and then watch Breaking Bad, then
Yes.
also it would be the same connect. It's
Yes.
like
Yes.
now that we have seen Breaking Bad first, so we know that this is the dhakkan from the same bottle
Yeah.
that Gus
Yeah.
Fring
Yeah.
has. If we are watching Breaking Bad later, we would be like, ये तो वही ढक्कन है जो Better Call Saul में we have seen already. So
Correct. Correct.
it's
Correct.
gonna be always, the impact is gonna be same always. That's how brilliant the writing is. It's like, what is that anagram? We call out palindrome, जो उल्टा सीधा
हाँ
सेम होता है,
हाँ
कहीं पे भी
हाँ
देख लो.
हाँ. Correct. Correct. Correct.
हाँ, so it's like that.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So like it almost they're able to not just fully flesh out the characters, they're able to fully flesh out the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Both.
That's how the world is so much connected, and we are still part of the same world.
Yeah.
Though the characters are different, but और
Yes.
कार्टेल का तो जब भी स्टोरी चलता है, बेटर कॉल सॉल हैज टू स्टोरी लाइंस अकॉर्डिंग टू मी. आई थिंक
Correct.
एक जिमी की स्टोरी चल रही है और एक कार्टेल और गस फ्रिंग की स्टोरी चल रही है. सो वी आर गेटिंग टू शोज इन वन, काइंड ऑफ लाइक.
Yes.
And this both of these things combined together become the world of Breaking Bad eventually.
Yeah.
Somewhere they are coinciding, and ultimately the everything is taking place in Albuquerque only.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, like the mid-season finale that just happened was a classic case of the worlds colliding.
Yeah, exactly.
You were seeing Howard in one room, and you're seeing Lalo, and I'm like, ऐसा like दो अलग अलग planets से आ रहे हैं, right? You're like, how are these? And then you're like, oh shit.
He like just destroys the other planet.
Yes. Yes.
अभी अब जो शैटरिंग होने वाला है ना, उसके बाद जितने मीटियोर गिरेंगे आप पूरे स्टोरी में, that's what I'm looking forward to. कि now what happens, because Howard is not someone nobody is gonna notice कि मर गया. Howard का death is a big news. He's a big name. I don't know क्या होता है. I'm sure कि उसका कुछ करेगा, बॉडी डिस्पोज करेगा लालो, because लालो को जरूरत है अभी जिमी की.
Yeah.
And लालो की तो और बात करेंगे, but I think किम को हम भूल गए हैं. We should also talk a little about
Yeah.
Kim,
It's
because
hard to not avoid Kim.
Kim, yeah.
It's hard to forget Kim. Yeah. Kim is just another interesting character.
How would you like to define Kim actually, and what do you like about Kim?
I mean, for me, at one point I felt she was the most likable character in the show, like in terms of also maybe the most sort of morally strong character, if you think about it. and then obviously these writers surprise you, you know, with what the characters can do. And Kim is an interesting case of someone who's truly broken bad. Matlab, you felt like, okay, this person is an upstanding citizen, and like you feel there is some good strong moral fiber in her. And I'm not saying it's fully gone, because you see her, you know, after she quits the firm, she does help like underprivileged people with their cases. So it's not like she's all, it's not like she's completely off the off the wagon. But
Yeah.
but her relationship with Jim has sort of, you can say, maybe intoxicated her. Like she got seduced by this, the thrill that comes with being with Saul Goodman, who's now Saul. He's no longer Jimmy. Uh, you're saying Kim is also seeing how Jimmy has evolved, right? Just like how the
Yeah.
audience is seeing. And Kim also is adapting naturally to that.
Uh-huh.
It's scary. Like even like season 5 ka end also was kind of like, even Jimmy was a little scared, right? He was like, "Isko kya ho gaya?"
हाँ, erratic behavior चालू हो गया था किम का, but I think
Yeah.
Kim is the only one in the whole film, sorry, whole series
Uh,
that who understands Jimmy. All of
mm,
the other characters, they know Jimmy. I mean,
mm,
Chuck knew who Jimmy was. Howard knew who Jimmy is. But
mm,
Kim knows who Jimmy is, but she also understands why Jimmy is what he is,
why
why
he
he's all
is.
good, and what is the reason behind his actions, and who is this guy as a human. And that's why she loves him, I think. And they both started from the same place, and her life has always been, she is like the front bencher. वो जो होता है ना, हमेशा टॉप करते हैं, असाइनमेंट अप टू द मार्क होता है, नेवर मिस अ क्लास, always well dressed. And Jimmy is like a backbencher. When they both meet, it's always gonna be a great chemistry, and that's what is there in the show as well. But people are obviously right. Kim is wasting her life with Kim, and that's a hard fact. Uh,
Yeah.
you can't deny from that, because she is very intelligent. She could have been somewhere else, if
Yeah.
not gone. If she would have found someone who is, more stable mind ka person, yeah, she would have become a, uh, I would say, a more successful person than what she is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
संगति बोलते हैं ना, कभी कभी आदमी को बर्बाद भी कर देती है, बट आपके दोस्त हैं तो आप दोस्त को छोड़ नहीं सकते हो. तो दैट्स व्हाट इज हैपनिंग विद किम, आई थिंक. बस वही देखना है कि शो के एंड में क्या होता है, एंड हाउ इट गोस. मे बी किम एक्सेप्ट द फैक्ट कि शी इज वेस्टिंग हर लाइफ विद जिम. लेट्स सी.
Kim and Jim, like they bonded over the fact that both of them are little underappreciated in their
हाँ.
careers, right? Both of them, I think, you know, maybe that's how they bonded and that's how they connected and fell in love. You know, there is that common ground. And they show a bit of her childhood, you know, showing it was not exactly an easy childhood. Matlab, uh,
अभी
alcoholic
आई एम
mother.
yet to understand her relationship with her mother, कि वो कैसा था, and how was her mother
Yeah.
actually. क्योंकि मेरे को दो ही, आई थिंक, as far as I
हाँ.
remember,
So
सिर्फ
he.
दो उसके सीक्वेंसेस मिले हैं. वन वाज द रिसेंट वन, एंड द अर्लियर वन वाज व्हेन शी refused to sit in the car and was just walking and the mother left her. तो मेरे को अभी भी मदर का कैरेक्टर समझा नहीं है. आई जस्ट नो दैट शी वाज नॉट पेड अटेंशन टू, एंड
Yeah.
आई थिंक that's what you are also mentioning somewhere, that Jimmy was also not paid attention to by his brother and other family members, and that's where is also a common connect between both of them comes.
Yeah.
yeah, you hit the nail on it, on the point. Like, I don't think in those childhood flashbacks, I don't think she was given the right attention. She wasn't given enough attention. Like her mother seemed like, I'm guessing, single mother and alcoholic, and not like she had to take care of herself very early. I
I
Yeah.
felt that second flashback where she gets caught stealing and all that. Her mother, instead of like treating her like how a right mother should, matlab should she actually lets her get away with it, and you don't see her really, her mother doesn't really acknowledge her feelings, right? So I think uska, that childhood, that a little bit of that emotional trauma does
Yeah, maybe.
affect her. And I think later as an adult, when you see her, maybe she's seeking that kind of love and attention, maybe that she may not have gotten. And maybe Jimmy provides her that, that love and care.
Yeah, he
uh,
provides him with a cushion, I think, in her
A little
life
bit, yeah. There's
somewhere.
you see like a real bond between them, because obviously the chemistry between the actors is very good between Saul, and the actors are fantastic. But yeah, that's I think an aspect of Kim that's very interesting. And
That's what
uh,
also makes her very hardworking woman. And
yes.
like, if you remember one sequence of her when she had lost her client, I guess, when she
Hmm.
was put back into mailroom by
Ah,
Howard because he supported Jimmy. It was Chuck's decision somewhere.
yes, yes,
He
yes,
blamed
yes, yes.
uh, Kim for that, and he was put back into mailroom. So she,
Yeah,
gathered all her contacts and with all the sticky notes on the staircase and started calling them one by one to bring a potential client, and that's
yes.
how she brought May Severde, I think, Kevin,
Mesa Verde,
and
I think so. Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
so that was little inspiring that she would
Hmm.
not just take it and sit back.
Yeah.
She
Hmm.
is someone who has a fighting spirit in her.
she does it's, you clearly see that she's really good at what she does. She's got tremendous talent, and she works hard, and she's a really good lawyer. um, Now the fear is that might get squandered now because of the path she's taken now, being Saul's wife, and trying to pull off these scams. It's crazy. Kim is another tragic character, I would say, other than Saul Goodman. Uh,
Let's talk about the villains of this of this whole series. We were first introduced to Tuco in the first episode itself.
Yeah.
Uh, he has gone so far, but I think he will return back by the end of the episode. The new villains in the show were like Lalo, obviously,
The best,
and
bro.
the best probably. Yeah, he's very, very, very menacing and frightening.
he works like a detective actually.
You look at all the
Yeah,
characters.
अगर उसको कुछ डाउट है, कुछ किसी भी चीज़ का जांच करनी है, he'll go out of his way and investigate. He'll be like, show me, let's go. Right? He's very hands on.
he's so charming and so polite that you just can't deny him. Like, वही उसका power plus point भी है, USP.
Correct. Yeah.
He'll find a way to get what he wants, and to figure out what he wants. He's the smartest Salamanca, obviously. I think without a doubt.
हाँ, 100%. He thinks by other Salamancas are like muscle power mainly.
Hmm.
He is muscle plus brain. Otherwise, he
Yes.
could not have survived that assassination attempt on him.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes. Yes.
apart from Walter, I think he is the only one who is one step ahead of Gus Fring so far.
Yeah.
And Gus is no doubt. Gus is also like very much smart. He knows कि लॉन्ड्री को भी नहीं छोड़ना है, वहां भी लोग होने चाहिए, बट उसका मेन अटेंशन खुद के ऊपर है बिकॉज हिज जजमेंट इज क्लाउडेड बाय हिज ओन फियर फॉर हिज लाइफ. बट लालो इज वन स्टेप अहेड. उसको जानना है कि यहाँ तो मैथ लैब बन रहा है.
Yeah.
और that was even evident when he made a call to Hector, and then he realized,
Yeah.
another intelligent writing that people are wondering what did you realize, ऐसा क्या हो गया. बट
Yes.
दिमाग तुरंत क्लिक करता है कि ओ तुम भी साथ में सोच रहे हो, यू ऑल्सो बिकम डिटेक्टिव विद हिम कि ये तो
Correct.
फोन लाइन
Correct.
रिग्ड होगा. गसफ्रिंग को इसलिए ये गाली दे रहा है बिकॉज ही नोस गसफ्रिंग माइट हैव रिग्ड द फोन लाइन एंड ही नोस व्हाट ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. So he calls back again and tells him that अभी कुछ नहीं मिला है, no luck and nothing ये
Yeah.
वो.
Yeah. This is
So
where, and like you said, it was very funny to see Gus shit scared
yeah,
after. It really shows Lalo is the most dangerous guy
he's
in
the
the
most
whole
dangerous
universe.
guy.
In the whole Breaking Bad, Saul, Better Call Saul universe, Lalo might take the spot as the most dangerous villain.
See now, like the way the way it's going, I'm guessing Lalo might be killed off because there's no mention of him in Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
And
I think that is bound to happen
that's
It's
anyway.
bound
bound
to
to
happen.
happen. But because of the beauty of the writing, it's so unpredictable. You can't picture how the क्या करेंगे उनके साथ मतलब like how in Breaking Bad also Walter and Jesse had a big difficulty trying to get rid of Gus, right? So they were stuck, even the audience is stuck thinking, shit, how are they going to outsmart Gus? He's always 2 steps ahead. So same situation is going to come now. How are they going to outsmart Lalo? Gus and Mike have to pull off something really clever, and the audience will be like, whoa, like that was
Because that wasn't expected.
that wasn't that like his death is going to be an insane scene. Like it's not going to come easy, right? The writers don't like to take the easy route. They'll always take the really clever.
The very
And I think the first
compelling.
plan that Gus Fring and Mike come up with is bound to fail, and then they will have to improvise
Mm,
to like. I think that's what happened when Walt was trying to kill Gus Fring. He planted a bomb under his car, but he didn't sit in the car,
exactly.
and then he had to improvise and then what would I say, manipulate or persuade
Hector,
Hector
yeah.
Salamanca to kill him.
It was still
I think yeah,
convincing, right? It's still convincing.
But that's the thing. Lalo is a great, and in a way, if you think about it, Chuck's also kind of an
a
antagonist.
villain. Yeah, exactly.
And the beauty of characterization also, because your Chuck is someone who's actually a morally strong person, right? He's sort of a white knight kind of lawyer. But the one flaw of his was that he did not like his brother because there was some kind of secret jealousy that like he was the favorite child, right? That scene when the mother dies and calls out Jimmy's name. So there's a lot of pain behind Chuck, and that I think really, and also the fact that he can't stand to see his brother uh,
Succeed in the same
succeed and,
profession.
and 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 redeem himself. Yeah, like he's lost hope on his brother, and that all that resentment and that bitterness is what makes him that antagonist.
Antagonist.
A supposedly really good moral person.
I think you summed it up
Resorts to,
pretty well and beautifully.
yeah. I mean, Chuck is, yeah,
His
it's
death was also like very much symbolic and like I would
yes,
say metaphorical. Like he was burned in his own fire of hatred
yeah.
and jealousy.
Actually, he
That
symbolized that self-destruction. Like he
like
destroyed his own house
Shakespearean,
only.
like how Shakespearean dramas are and novels and
Yeah,
literature is.
yeah,
It was something similar to that only. It was
yeah.
very gothic to me, like that fire. And when the next season starts, that fire flies over the bed of Jimmy and Kim. I mean, obviously that was just to represent it,
Yes.
but it felt gothic to me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So to finish off this discussion, Ujjwal, I would like to know what are your kind of predictions for the story. How do you see it going, looking based on whatever we've seen so far?
well, as I already told you, I am pretty much. I think I have a strong feeling that King Wexler is gonna die, and
Okay.
yeah, that's my. I'm hoping for the showrunners to surprise me and prove me
Yeah,
wrong, but there is a strong feeling,
yeah.
and I have no idea what's gonna happen with Saul after the Breaking Bad events, the black and white
Future, yeah. That's
sequences
I'm very,
the
very
future.
curious about. Yeah,
I have no idea where is it going. I just know that he's paranoid and he's living a life of a you know sad and tragic person whose life has been a big tragedy. I don't know what he does with his life, um,
yeah.
so I have no idea about that. And yeah, I think he's already become Saul Goodman. Just the only last nail in the coffin, I think it's gonna be Kim Wexler, and maybe it might happen that Kim Wexler might, just reject him in the last, and then he accepts that
It might
okay, fine,
be.
everyone has rejected me, and now I don't have to make any other compromises. I am what I am. I am Saul Goodman. So better call Saul.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. Like he's lost everyone in the process. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
There
mean,
might be a fallout between both of them. I don't know.
possible. I mean, especially what happened in the finale, the mid-season
Yeah,
finale.
yeah, yeah.
That Kim really
Kim might
saw.
realize. Kim might realize that might open her eyes that, oh my god, this is that serious, and this guy is, I think, really into some bigger shit now.
Yeah,
What about the cartel world?
Uh, well, as we have already discussed, we all know what is the future of the cartel from Breaking Bad. Uh, I think Lalo is gonna be dead by the end of the season, and it's just gonna be Gus Fring and Hector Salamanca in the end against each other. And
direction.
after Lalo dies, if he dies,
Uh,
we all know that Tuco is gonna take over again. He's gonna return
yeah.
from the jail, and
Yes.
after serving his sentence.
Yeah. Probably.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all about cartel. And as I told you earlier, that I think cartel is just one part of the whole franchisee, but it's just more or less a very strong tool, or we can say a climate that creates the whole character arc, be it of
Yeah.
Walter White or be it of Better Call Saul. But it's not really the core of the story. So I don't think a lot of uh, plot line or story is gonna be uh, there in showing how what happens with the cartel and what happens with the drug empire after the events of Breaking Bad have happened. I am
Yeah.
much more interested in what happens to Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman. Yeah. Kim,
Yeah,
Saul. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And the future also, right? That future
Hey,
timeline
I'm
there.
talking about
The
future
Acha.
only. That what
Acha.
happens
The
to
future one.
the
Gene.
Saul Goodman in future, the black and white version. I am interested
Yeah.
in that because I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, they have only shown us that he's living a paranoid life and avoiding all the suspicion that he can, but no
So
idea where
far.
he's gonna go.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, we know there was a moment where someone recognized him, season 5, mein,
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
taxi driver. So that, and then he went and tried to call the vacuum cleaner, and then he's like, "No, I'll take care of this." And so we've never gone back since then. They've never,
Yeah,
we've
right,
never gone
right,
back.
right.
So it's quite a gap now since we've revisited the future.
Future, yes.
So I'm sure, obviously, they have to tie up that because they are masters in tying up loose ends.
So the writers, they like to surprise us, but I think more than that, they like to surprise themselves with what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of there's so much potential for so many things to happen, even in these 6 episodes, right? So, but yeah, they're gonna make sure that, see, without any payoff, they're not going to plant or establish
Yeah,
Establish
something.
something.
They're
everything
going
is
to,
going to be resolved. That
Yeah.
is for sure. On the show, they really take their time to build the world, to build the character, to create those moments, and they let you spend time with the character. I mean, yeah, these are happening in every other TV show also, but what they are doing is they are taking bold decisions with their edits and their shots, and you know how they are mixing contemporary shots with not so contemporary shots. Like sometimes they switch to POV and then they have the standard shots also. So it's like their filmmaking choice is also very bold.
Yeah.
And I have observed that the color palette has shifted to a darker tone. I think in
Yeah.
this season, like it was very bright and colorful in the first
Yeah.
season, first earlier seasons, and now this has become like cold or more of like thriller and action kind of color palette.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. You're right. The look is actually very different. Better Call Saul visual template is very different. I'm guessing different cameras were used, different a different cinematography approach only. You know, like you said, there's a bittersweet feeling here because once it's over, you're like, oh,
It's over.
we're not going to. Yeah, it's over. No spin off. No.
No spin-off, no nothing else.
मतलब
No new seasons
यही है
coming after
यही
2 years.
तो यही है. So
I think payoff ही होना बाकी है अब तो mainly.
yeah
सारे जितने भी उन लोगों को सेटअप्स करने थे वो लोग कर चुके हैं.
yeah that's
And
true.
again, Rip Howard, I am really very sad that Howard had to go like that because I don't
Yeah.
think he deserved uh, such treatment from Jimmy and such treatment from writers, because they like just killed him just like that. And I was already feeling bad, and then he got shot and he was dead, and
Yeah,
then he was it was all over for Howard.
yeah,
He didn't get
that's
to
true.
redeem.
That's
He
true.
was always juggling between this and that and his life, and between Chuck and Jimmy, and doing right and respecting.
Yeah.
Uska character development is actually quite underrated in the show.
Uh,
Yes,
The way you see him, and then even his last episode, uh, he handled that confrontation with a lot of class, I would say.
yes, yes,
थोड़ा
100%.
मतलब he didn't make a huge scene, and उसने बोला I will get back. He'll at least not sit down and
Just
fail.
let it
Well,
happen and just
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's been
lose.
struggling. उसने बोला ना, I
He's
got
a
hit, I got
gentleman.
married. He's a
He's a
gentleman in a way.
gentleman. He's a gentleman.
So just having that whole speech, right, and then suddenly him going, I'm like, it's such a powerful way for a character to go. It's like,
Go, yeah, right.
yeah, same for
I
Nacho in a
mean,
way.
and just before leaving, he reinforced that point of the whole show, that who Jimmy is, who Chuck always said who Jimmy is, and he made a statement for Kim also, that you're just spoiling your life, but now I realize that you also enjoy it. The reason why she is with Jimmy is that she also enjoys the sins or the hooligan that Jimmy does. Somewhere she enjoys it because of her past with her mother, I think, and whatever her childhood upbringing was like. But he made a statement, and it is the dead fact, dead truth, I would say,
Yeah, yeah.
of the show, of the both the
That's true.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like Breaking Bad, this is also about Saul Kim kind of Breaking Bad, like
It's
it's
a
Yeah, right.
similar kind of
Well,
theme,
yeah,
but
exactly.
done obviously done in a very different way. They're not they're not cooking meth or
all
killing
people.
people. They're just pulling off scams. So that is it. Yeah. And another character I'll miss is Nacho, who had an amazing final episode as well.
Amazing, amazing, and what a brilliant actor, I must say. And he played it very gracefully. He was always curt, very polite, and very calculative, no, very silent. So he was, and very intelligent. Like, he was also a schemer. Uh, if not for Gus, he might have killed Hector Salamanca already.
Our perception of him changed, na? So from season 1 to season 6, we saw him evolve as well.
Yeah,
Like our perception evolved, and his character also. Obviously, he was put in a very impossible situation,
I
which
mean,
was like,
he had realized that मैं गलत रास्ते पे आ गया हूं, and I have put my dad's life in danger, and now I have to make it right, and I just can't leave the world of
Yeah,
crime so easily. Nobody would let me. I'm
yeah.
already deep into it. So he was just trying to make good by his dad, trying to protect him by creating his own world and trying to find his way. I mean, how to like get away from the cartel, but he just got entangled between this mafia war between the two cartels. I mean, Gus is also like a cartel only, though he's not
He,
from Mexico, and he's
he's
from actually Chile, right? He's a
yeah,
Chilean.
yeah, yeah. Chile.
So this is
I
like
mean,
cartel war, drug lords war, gang war, and he caught up between that. He straight up
he's.
sacrificed himself for his father, and like
It was the only choice. That's the thing. It was the only choice he had. When you
he
look at what he
actually didn't
has.
trust Gus, but I think he trusted Mike more than he trusted Gus. That Mike would do right by, because he has seen Mike's character. Because when he hired Mike to put Tuco inside the prison, Mike didn't kill Tuco, but he took a hit on himself. And then I think then he realized that the Mike is a man of true character and he can be trusted. And
Yeah,
Mike is a good guy.
so the character, the writers of the show, the writers and the directors, they're able to write so many interesting scenarios where the actions really show who these people are. It's better rather than saying, right? Like obviously, show don't tell, na? So is this show does it? This show does it really well, and there's so many examples you can show where this it proves okay, this person is this way. or this person thinks or acts a certain way, and we see that, right? It's like, wow, it's like you're watching,
Sometimes characters do make those choices that we are thinking that, yeah, this is gonna be their typical response, but they do not respond in that manner. Like if you
Yes.
remember that uh, the guys who wanted to sell photocopier Xerox machines, Jimmy went there for the interview. They interviewed him and they really liked him. They hired him instantly. And then Jimmy made fun of them right in front of them. You guys are idiots, and walked away. And then stole, I think, some kind of artifact from their store that night.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
From,
yeah,
so
yeah.
these things reveal the nature of the character. Like there is more to it than what you already know.
especially with TV. With TV, you can really pull off surprises. Yeah.
अब फिल्म में इतना ज्यादा स्कोप नहीं रहता ना, कैनवास छोटा है, टाइम कम है, तो देर इज लिमिटेड टाइम पीरियड जिसमें सब कुछ दिखाना है, आपको स्टोरी भी कंप्लीट करनी है. सीरीज में यू कैन जस्ट स्पेंड 2-3 एपिसोड जस्ट बिल्डिंग कैरेक्टर, नथिंग हैपनिंग. इनफैक्ट अभी भी सीजन में जो 2 एपिसोड थे, एपिसोड नंबर 2 and 3 स्लो ही चल रहे थे, मतलब बस सेटअप ही सेटअप हो रहा था, पे ऑफ नहीं हो रहा था. आई रिमेम्बर मेरा फ्रेंड देख रहा था बैठ के, आयुष, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, ही हैज ऑलरेडी बीन टू योर चैनल बिफोर.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
So I was watching an episode, and he was just sitting besides me. He doesn't watch. He hasn't seen Breaking Bad either, and
Okay.
he was just so he was just watching the show, and he was like, कुछ होता नहीं ना इस शो में, ये चल रहा है बहुत देर से, स्लोली स्लोली चल रहा है. मैं बोला मजा उसी में है, और जब होगा तब तेरा मुंह फटा रह जाएगा, जब तू देखते रह जाएगा कि क्या हो गया.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think, yeah, I'm like a lot of people who are new to these shows, Breaking Bad and especially Better Call Saul, even like Breaking Bad fans, some like who have recommended
people
and all
give
that.
up after
Yeah,
two
yeah,
seasons,
yeah.
2.5 seasons.
Yes,
You slow. मैं बोला
people are not patient enough to let that really,
sink in
uh,
and
because
absorb the character.
both shows are slow burns, but you're rewarded amazingly, right? That's it's worth it, and
100%.
it needs to be slow. I think it needs to be.
वो
Varna
ड्रामा
you,
तभी इम्पैक्टफुल रहेगा जब वो उस तरीके से ही बनेगा. अगर आपने कैरेक्टर्स के साथ टाइम नहीं लिया, कैरेक्टर बिल्डअप में टाइम नहीं लिया, तो फिर आपको जब पे ऑफ होगा उसमें वो मजा नहीं आएगा. वो जो पेशेंस के
wait,
साथ वॉल्टर वाइट के साथ आप बैठे हो टेबल डिनर टेबल सीन्स पे, ब्रेकफास्ट टेबल सीन्स पे, कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, आप 2 सीजन पूरे बैठे हो, उसके बाद जब वो बेसमेंट में जब सीखता है लास्ट में,
mm,
जब स्काइलर ब्रेक्स द न्यूज की मैंने तो ये बेनेकी को दे दिया है, टेड को दे दिया पैसा, एंड ही इज लाइंग इन द बेसमेंट, एंड ही जस्ट लूजेस हिज शिट एंड जस्ट स्टार्ट स्क्रीमिंग एंड द फोन इज रिंगिंग इन द हॉल. मतलब क्या, व्हाट अ ब्रिलियंट सीन. मेरे रोंगटे खड़े हो गए थे वो सीन देख के. बट दैट इज ओनली वर्थ इट व्हेन यू हैव taken all that torture of sitting through the dining table scene and lunch breakfast scenes. तभी मजा आता है उसका.
That's true. It then it won't be true to the story, na? That the essence of the story. They have to be. That's what I like. They never compromise on anything. These writers. It's not like they'll do something just because fans like it. They don't do fan service. On that note, this was a really fun discussion, Ujjwal. I got to hear a lot of your theories and your perspective on the show. Very interesting. Thanks a lot for doing this, man.
Same here, Akshay. Thanks a lot for having me on the show, and it was great talking to you again. And finally had someone to talk to about the favorite show that we
yeah,
both
yeah.
enjoy. To the audience watching us, that if we have missed something to discuss about or any character that we have left, please mention them in the comments. We would be happy to participate and include you in our discussion as well.
Yeah. Please do comment. Let us know what you think about this discussion. Let us know what you think about the podcast.
And
Yeah, I
also let us
mean,
know what you guys think can happen in the show or is going to happen in the show. Is going to happen with Jimmy. We would like to hear your theory about that.
Let us know what you think will be the show's ending, or how you see, what direction you see the show going towards.
Thanks for having me on the show,
yeah,
and let's do another podcast after the show is.
Yeah, I would love to. It would be interesting to see what actually went down.
yeah. That's
And
true.
how many of our predictions come true, and how much we are surprised after the season is over.
Yeah, you never know, anything can happen. Yeah, that's true. So thanks a lot, Ujjwal. Take care, and yeah.
See you later,
Yeah,
or see you soon.
yeah, we'll catch up.
Okay.